This is Fetty Wap right here. Willie Jr. Maxwell II, born June 7th, 1991. Better known by his stage name, Fetty Wap is an American rapper, singer, and songwriter. He rose to prominence after his debut single, Trap Queen. You guys know what I'm talking about here? 1738. Yeah, that one. That song. Reached the number 2 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 in May 2015. This helped Fetty Wap secure a record deal with 300 Entertainment. The single was followed up with 2 top 10 U.S. singles in the U.S., 679, and then featuring Remy Boyce and My Way, which if you guys don't remember that song, Baby, Won't You Come My Way? I don't mean to butcher the song, but you guys get the idea, okay? This guy is a hit maker. I mean, I remember from when he came out back in like 2014 to 2017, any major feature had this dude on it, man. Fetty Wap, very well known for his vocals and singing, and he just does hooks, man. You know what I'm saying? He was the T-Pain of the 2014 era. You know what I'm saying? He was like the T-Pain for us. And the T-Pain, for you guys that don't know, was like the auto-tune era from I want to say from like 05 to like 2010, like T-Pain was on top. And then, things started to shift and you got other people that are famous for singing hooks. And then let's see here. Both were featured on Fetty Wap's Eponymous, I probably butchered that, debut album released in September 2015 and peaking atop the U.S. Billboard 200 Fetty chart. So he was born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey. Born with glaucoma in both eyes, Maxwell revealed in a 2015 interview that doctors were unable to save his left eye and instead fitted him with an ocular prosthesis. He attended Eastside High School before dropping out in order to pursue his music career. And for some of you guys that are wondering how he got the name Fetty Wap, well, guys, slang in the East Coast in general is, hey, I'm getting that Fetty. It means money. And then Wap he took after Gucci Mane, who goes by the name Guwap, right? So he named himself Fetty Wap in honor of Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane is a big inspiration to a lot of these newer artists. But yeah, guys, Paterson, New Jersey is the hood. That's definitely not a safe place to be. So we kind of know his background. Fetty Wap is referred to his music as ignorant R&B. That's actually very true. What a perfect description of his music. He combines singing and rapping. Fetty Wap usually wears the flag of Haiti in honor of his daughter's late grandmother and draws influences from Haitian culture. In an interview with Civil TV, he said that he fell in love with the culture. People don't know what Haiti means to me. On several occasions, Fetty Wap also cited Atlanta-based rapper Gucci Mane as a major influence in his music, which is where he got the Wap from, guys, for Guwap. And shout out to all my Haitians out there, all the Z's, all the Zo's. So we know who Fetty Wap is, guys, right? This guy, he's famous. This is him performing in 2015, Paterson, New Jersey, etc. Okay? So let's go back here. Okay, so now, let's see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss any of these chats. We got W. Alfonso. I love this channel. $5. Thank you so much. Isaac J. Smooth. Sheesh, bro. Was worried you weren't going to be able to live stream, but I'm glad it worked out. Also, shout out to FNF and Unplugged Fitness. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that. And yeah, don't worry, guys. The only reason I had to push it back was because of the Super Bowl. I didn't want to make you guys have to pick between the Super Bowl or watching this, so it's okay. Definitely do Kwame Kilpatrick. I don't know who that is, but I'll do research. I know you guys want me to cover quite a few. I got a whole list of cases that you guys want me to do, so don't worry. Patterson, yeah, you better only go there in the daytime. Yeah, you're right, King Life Facts. But yeah, I personally don't watch sports, guys, but I know you guys do, so I didn't want to do that. So, as you guys know, back in October, Fetty Wap got hit with some very serious drug charges, okay? He got arrested at the Rolling Loud Music Festival. But before we get into how he actually got arrested, let's go over what led to the events of him getting arrested, okay? So let me close this tab up. Okay, so I'm gonna share a screen with y'all real fast. You know what? Maybe I can do... Okay, don't worry about this. Ignore this for now. I'm going to move this over here. Bang. Okay, there we go. So, just so you guys know, I had to do some research here, but I figured out that the Fetty Wap case, the federal case that we have now, was actually a state case first, which is very alarming to me because the fact that it was a state case first and then they decided, you know what, let's take this federal, tells me there's a lot of moving parts. But let's read this press release from the DEA, okay? Drug Enforcement Administration, for all my foreign people out there, the DEA is in charge of handling domestic drug investigations in the United States, okay? They investigate violations of Title 21, okay? So hold on, let me enlarge this a little bit so y'all can see what the hell's going on here. All right, hold on. Enlarge. Oh, it's Control plus, duh. Okay. So Multi-agency investigation leads to arrest of 5, seizure of 17 kilograms of cocaine, 2 kilograms of heroin, 4,000 counterfeit oxy pills, 9 guns, and 1.5 million of drug proceeds. And this, guys, look at the date, was June 29th, 2020 was the press release, okay? So this is in Long Island, aka Strong Island, okay? USDEA Special Agent in Charge of the New York Division, Ray Donovan, Suffolk County District Attorney Timothy D. Sonny, U.S. Postal Service Office of Inspector General, Northeast Area Special Agent in Charge Matthew Modafferi, god damn, that's a mouthful, and Suffolk County Police Commissioner Geraldine Hart today announced the arrest of 5 individuals and the seizure of 17 kilos of cocaine, 2 kilograms of heroin, and 4,000 oxy pills, more than 1.5 million in cash, and numerous firearms in a takedown of an alleged multi-million-dollar cross-country drug distribution network operating in Suffolk County out there in Long Island, aka Strong Island. This investigation exemplifies how drug traffickers have been impacted by the coronavirus, adopting smuggling methods, transportation routes, and money laundering operations to maintain security and social distancing, said Ray Donovan, Special Agent in Charge of the DA New York Division. Allegedly, the SOSA organization operation was a major drug supplier for Long Island and the tri-state area, and by seizing 9 guns and millions of dollars worth of illicit narcotics, law enforcement is saving lives. Okay, and this is them basically. These are the people giving their statements. So we'll just skip this because we don't really care about what the postal inspector and everything. This always happens, guys. So anytime let me just bring this. Hold on, stop the show. Anytime there's a big a takedown, okay, pretty much the agencies, right? The prosecutors, etc. Sometimes if the case is really big, like the director of the agency will show up and they'll do a press release. They'll do a press conference. And when they do the press conference, they're all sitting there with the shirt and ties and everything else like that. And they talk about, oh yeah, we law enforcement won today. We got this and blah, blah, blah. So they give their statements. Okay. Give me ones in the chat if you guys want me to read the statements of the district attorney and the postal inspection person, or if you guys want me to just get right into the facts of the case. Give me ones in the chat if you guys want me to read their statements. If not, I'll get right into the facts of the case. 2 if you want me to get into the facts, 1 if you want me to read their statements. Ones. Okay, looks like you guys want me to read it. Okay, fair enough. I will. Are we getting all ones over there? Pretty much. Yeah. Okay. All right. All ones. Okay. All right then. So let's see here. Okay, so this is a DEA special agent in charge that said this. So here we go. The magnitude of this drug investigation is enormous. They were responsible for peddling millions of dollars in narcotics on almost a weekly basis. District Attorney Sidney said, not only did this organization continue their illicit operation during the coronavirus pandemic, they also exploiting the limited availability of certain narcotics during the health crisis to generate even greater profits off their sales. With this takedown, we put a large-scale drug distribution network out of business and prevented 17 kilos of cocaine, 2 kilos of heroin, and 4,000 counterfeit oxy pills from reaching the streets of Suffolk County. This was outstanding work by the members of the office's Special Narcotics Bureau in collaboration with the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Suffolk County Police Department, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, and all our law enforcement partners involved in this investigation. Okay, stop the show. So I want to make this very clear to you guys right now. The state is prosecuting this case according to this press release because you got the district attorney. Okay, guys, remember how I told you guys before, there's 2 different types of ways to get prosecuted. You got the state and the feds. So the feds, you got something called assistant United States attorneys or U.S. attorneys, okay? The state has something called district attorney. They got district attorneys or ADA, assistant district attorney, okay? And the district attorney, Sini, right? This guy basically is the head of all the ADA. So the district attorney is the leader, and then you got assistant district attorney underneath him, hence the word assistant in before district attorney. Same thing with the federal prosecutor's office, with the AUSA's office. It's you got the United States attorney, and then underneath him you got the what? Assistant United States attorneys. So ADA versus AUSA, this is a state case, okay? Because the state is there for the press conference, all right? But you got 2 federal agencies involved in this case. You got the DEA, and you got the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, which this is going to make sense in a second why the U.S. Postal Inspection was involved. And for some of you guys that are wondering, U.S. Postal Inspection Service are basically criminal investigators that investigate crimes that are used facilitating the U.S. mail, okay? So let's keep going on here. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Like the video, because ain't nobody going to give y'all a breakdown of these federal cases like this on the internet because, hell, I used to do these cases. So, all right. This is another example of the focus and tenacity of the men and women of this department as they continue their relentless work to protect our residents, Suffolk County Police Commissioner Geraldine Hart said. Okay, so she's the head of the Suffolk County Police Department, right? Which is actually one of the highest paid police departments in the United States, by the way, guys. New York is not cheap to live in. By intercepting 7 kilos of cocaine, 2 kilograms of heroin, 4,000 oxy pills, and arresting 5 people, 3 of whom are major drug traffickers, this investigation has significant impact on the drug supply in Suffolk County and will help us stop the spread of narcotics. I would like to recognize efforts of our narcotics section detectives and the members of the DEA task force, as well as our partners in the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. Okay. Guys, this is very common in major cities in the United States, whether it's New York City or adjacent cities that are close by or whatever it may be. This is all over the United States. Drug task forces, okay? And what is a drug task force? A drug task force, guys, is typically either run by the DEA, a HIDTA program, high intensity drug trafficking area. That's what HIDTA stands for, guys. And it's basically a federal mandate that gives money to law enforcement agencies that allows them to do drug trafficking investigations, okay? And these drug task force agencies, typically it's made up of federal, state, municipal police, etc., and they all work together to combat drug trafficking in high drug trafficking areas, aka major cities, all right? So DEA task force, this is very common that DEA has task forces all over the place. And I explained to you guys on other episodes what task force officers are, okay? If you guys want me to give that explanation again, we'll stay tuned for the rest of the show. So when drug trafficking organizations seek to use the Postal Service to further the distribution of narcotics, the U.S. Postal Service Office of Inspector General will work tirelessly with our law enforcement partners to disrupt the criminal enterprise, said Matthew Madafari, Special Agent Charged the U.S. Postal Office of Inspector General, Northeast area. Today's announcement is a culmination of outstanding work, and I would like to commend the DEA Task Force, the Suffolk County Police Department, and the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office for their tireless efforts in this investigation. Okay, so we got all the politically correct announcements of, what they're going to say. Anytime, like I said, anytime there's a big arrest, every agency figurehead is going to show up, make their little statement, and, talk. Basically it's them talking their shit like, hey, we got you motherfuckers, but in a very politically correct way. So let's get into the investigation, okay? An investigation was launched in May 2019 by the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, DEA, and Suffolk County Police Department into alleged drug dealings by James Sosa, 25, of Wading River, Brian Sullivan, 24, of Lake Grove, and their associates. Keep these names in mind, guys, okay? James Sosa and Brian Sullivan. The alleged drug trafficking ring would purchase narcotics on the west coast of the United States for transportation back to Suffolk County. It is alleged that members of this drug trafficking ring would utilize various methods to move narcotics proceeds, guys, is money, over the course of this investigation, often switching these methods to thwart detection by law enforcement. These methods include cross-country trips in vehicles and airplanes, as well as the use of mail carrier services, aka the USPS, as we discussed earlier. Pursuant to the investigation, law enforcement officers executed search warrants on June 27th at 6 locations in connection with the alleged drug distribution ring, including residences in Lake Grove, Wading River, Port Jefferson Station, Coram, Selden, and Brentwood. Okay, stop the show. Let me make this extremely clear for you guys, just so you guys know what the fuck is going on here, okay? It goes here. They executed search warrants on June 27th at 6 locations in connection with the alleged drug distribution ring, okay? I did drug cases for a long time. Anytime you get a search warrant to look at a house, 9 out of 10 times there's an informant involved. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time for y'all. 9 out of 10 times you doing a search warrant at a house, there was an informant or an undercover agent involved to some degree, most likely an informant. Okay, because drug trafficking is a very, hey, this is our type thing, you're not involved, let me deal with only a small group of people. I'm not going to sell drugs to you unless I know who you are. I'm not going to move drugs for you unless I know who you are, etc. So the fact that they did these search warrants already tells me I know they got informants involved. Okay, and on top of that, I want to make this very clear. This was a state case first, guys. Okay, to get a state search warrant is significantly easier than getting a federal search warrant. All right, I'm gonna say that one more time for y'all. Getting a state search warrant is far easier than getting a federal search warrant. Okay, so this happens a lot of the times with these task forces. What they'll do is, if I'm a DEA special agent, right, and I'm on a task force with state and locals, etc., and I know that this house, we've been looking at this house for a while. We know that they're selling drugs out of that house. Maybe we sent an informant or undercover agent in to go and buy drugs. It's going to be far easier and faster, by the way, for me to have, a detective that works for the state, whether he's, Suffolk County detective or he's a New York State Police or NYPD, whatever the hell. It's going to be way easier for him to go ahead and get a search warrant through a state judge versus me going through a federal judge. Okay, the state judge system is a lot better. They tend to work more flexible hours. You can go to a judge's house at night sometimes and get it signed. Can you do it federally? Yes, you can, but it needs to be an emergency. So with drug cases, it's almost always better to work with the state and get state search warrants if you can. Okay, so that tells me off rip that I know that they probably did state search warrants on this because they had the ADAs involved, and ADAs will get you a search warrant back much faster than the feds will. Okay, and I'll just be honest with you. It's easier to get a state search warrant than it is to get a federal one, bro. I'm just going to keep it 1,000 with y'all. Anytime I needed to hit a house quick, I would always go to my state guy and be like, hey, can you get a search warrant, in a couple hours? Yes, I can. Because remember, guys, when you're looking at a drug house, they can destroy the evidence immediately. They might not have dope when you go ahead and want to do a search warrant. So you need to act quickly. You know what I'm saying? When you got information that the house is being used, you need to move fast. All right? So I'm willing to bet that they had done operations on each of these 6 stash houses prior to getting the search warrants, maybe a day or two in between, got the search warrants all cut at the same time, hit all 6 residences at the same time, and got this big hit that they got right here, which we're going to go over in a second. All right? The search warrants resulted in the seizure of 17 kilos of coke, 2 kilos of heroin, approximately $1.5 million in cash, approximately 4,000 oxy pills, 9 firearms, and drug paraphernalia consistent with packaging and sales, including kilo presses and cutting agents. In addition, numerous luxury vehicles used in alleged transport of narcotics have been seized and will forego forfeiture proceedings, which means they basically seized the assets and now they're going to basically, they're going to take it. They're going to seize it and forfeit it. You know, it's been forfeited to the U.S. government now, right? And you guys probably want some pictures of what was taken. I got y'all. Don't worry. I got the pictures right here. Your boy's prepared, okay? So here's some of the money that they took. Okay, here's some of the money, right? Here's the pressing the pressing stuff that they used to conceal the dope, and here's a couple of the keys, man. Oh Lord, not looking good, man. Not looking good at all. This is quite a bit of dope, guys, and I'll tell you guys this is a big hit. 17 kilos of cocaine and 2 kilos of heroin and $1.5 million of cash. This is fucking huge. Okay. Now, granted, I used to work on the Mexican border, so 17 kilos of cocaine is a joke. But in the interior, in Long Island, this is a big fucking deal. All right, this is a huge seizure. All right, so as you guys can see, and also this, what made it? You guys are probably wondering, Myron, how did you figure out that this was a state case first? So look, I see here Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, and I was like, what the fuck? Why are they involved? And then also, I used to work with DEA very closely. If you guys see here, and let me enlarge it for y'all. So this right here, guys, these evidence bags, these are DEA evidence bags, okay? Because I can see the seal right here, right? Like I told y'all, I used to work with the DEA very closely because I used to do drug cases. So, it would always be, and to be honest with you, it's better to give them the drugs when you work with them because they have like a whole system with drugs because that's what they do. They do drug cases. Technically, I used to work for HSI. Could I seize the drugs too? For sure. I have Title 21 authority as well. But it was always better to go with the DEA when it came to seizing drugs because they can lab test it for you. They have the chemists. You know what I'm saying? Drugs is what they do. DEA is a single authority agency. Title 21, baby, which is drugs in the federal system, okay? So these evidence bags are very familiar, and that's what had me very confused. So I was like, did the FBI really do this case? Because you guys are going to see here in a second, the FBI gets involved as well, which I have a suspicion of how that happened. But yeah, so here's the drugs, right? And yeah, here we go. Bam. Heroin, cocaine, etc. So this is no bueno for these guys. All right, let me minimize this joint. So let's go back into reading this DEA press release, okay? So, hey, yo, guys, like the video. Give me some ones in the chat if you guys are enjoying this and you guys are learning quite a bit because I'm dropping a lot of knowledge right here that you ain't going to get anywhere else on the internet. Give me some ones in the chat if you guys are enjoying this, okay? Because like I said, nobody has this type of knowledge on YouTube. That's a fact.